Welcome back to the Crooked Smile podcast brought to you by Massacre Media. Today we have on lead singer and songwriter of Humble Armada, Matt Simich.
Yeah, we have a great chat about songwriting, creative process, being in a band, touring, all sorts of stuff, musical inspirations, opening for the Jonestown Massacre and where that was a fascinating experience for them. So yeah, it's a really great episode, really nice chill chat. So
Let's get into it.
let's get into it.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
You're a busy
very
man
kind.
and we're happy to have got you in.
I appreciate that.
You're gigging later today.
Yep, got a gig later today. Sunday gig in the heat.
Yeah, what's
It's been hot lately.
Is it 40 again today?
I hope not. Last few days have been terrible.
Does it get hot up on stage when you're performing?
Yeah. And I'm a sweater. Like, I sweat a lot, and I've been told that by a lot of people. But I know you can't help it.
So no dark shirts.
No dark
Gotta make
shirts.
sure.
We have a rule that like you can't wear short pants on stage ever. You can't see your knees. That's like the rule. Because if you
That
think
would
about it,
suck though on a
it
day
does
like today.
suck, but yeah, big time, especially when you're playing outside. But when you think about it from like an audience perspective, they're like looking at your kind of like knee level.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like looking at your knees. So we try to do no knees, but I think today is going to have to be an exception because it's going to be a
Yeah.
hot
What
one.
about shirts rules? You can take the shirts off then, or
You can. We never have.
That's not your brand.
No, and like we don't have the rigs for that. Like you have to make sure you're in shape before you start whipping that out.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
don't.
we were going to do that for the podcast, but I felt the same.
unless you're Ty Wade.
Unless you're Ty Wade, yeah.
Oh, I saw he came on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like Ty. I've met him a few times.
he likes the no shirt.
Artist
Ty, if you're
supporting,
watching.
supporting artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I do like him as well. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah, he's
And
very
I
grounded.
don't know what's he doing. Is he doing bits right now?
Well, we got the breaking scoop,
Yeah, I don't know.
Last
We
night,
might
'cause
have
his
to
sister
ask-
came on for
we
an
might
episode.
have to ask this
Oh.
person if we can say this because I think
but
it's
he's
brand
he's
new.
joined. He's just enlisted to go to the army.
Oh,
Ships off
right.
in March.
Yeah,
Max,
he's on his
Yeah.
Elvis arc.
that's so crazy.
His Elvis, his Jimi Hendrix arc, where they go to
Yeah.
the army and come back.
He'll come out. He'll make some great songs. After
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, we've got some rapid
got
fire
rapid
questions
fire
for you,
Okay,
just to
yeah, sure.
kind of get you thinking. But do you want to go first this week?
I'll go first. Yeah. So Matt, who is your biggest current music inspiration or your favorite band at this current point?
It's definitely a band called The War on Drugs.
Yes.
You heard of
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the War on Drugs this morning about asking you about them because I went to their concert recently here.
Same, yeah.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
water wet?
Water is wet, I reckon. Just like from a common sense point of view. Yeah. I can understand the other argument, but I think it's wet, yeah.
Trying to catch you out there. Who would play you in a movie about your life? A Humble Armada biopic.
No idea, but I like Paul Dano at the moment.
Yeah,
I just reckon
nice.
he's sick. Yeah,
He's
so
good.
I reckon
maybe,
Bradley
yeah.
Cooper.
Brad.
In the
my-
Shallows?
I see it.
Yeah,
actually.
maybe.
He can sing.
I see it.
He's so good. He's a great singer.
And he spent 6 years learning how to conduct for the last movie that he did. Did you see that?
You kind of look the same, have similar voice.
If I look the same as Bradley Cooper, I'll take that.
You got a
but
better voice than Bradley Cooper.
I got a better
Oh,
voice
yeah.
than him, yeah, and I'm better looking than him as well.
I don't
so.
think he's a natural singer. I think he had to really try hard to learn to sing for. That's the vibe I got from the Star Is
cool.
Born. No, you know, like he had to because he's singing next to Lady Gaga. Like that's
Well, if you could speak to any musician alive or dead, who would it be?
oh
Damn. John Lennon.
nice.
Yeah, he's sick.
Fascinating. All right, last one that I've forgotten. Did you enjoy the Siget Festival in Hungary in
Yeah,
Budapest?
that was the best festival I've ever been to.
Yep.
And I've been twice, and both times are like my top two festivals I've been to.
And just a crazy coincidence that we ran into you, Tame Impala night.
Yeah,
Sunday.
it was serendipitous that we ran into each other watching Tame Impala, right?
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
being from Perth and all.
Yeah, just a few people from Perth hanging out.
But no, that was a very cool. It was a cool moment to have with you,
festival.
actually.
Yeah, it was nice. It was good to see you. Did you was that the only night you went, or you would have been there a few?
Yeah,
nights?
did I tell you that? Oh man, like that was a nightmare that night because That was the end of my Europe trip in 2022.
Oh.
It was like finish it off in Hungary, in Budapest, and go to Siget, which is like my favorite festival. I went back in 2019 and I loved it. I was like, I'll go again, and then come back to Perth.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I just assumed that the festival would run from a week, finishing on Sunday.
Yes.
You know, but it finishes on Monday.
Yeah.
It finished on Monday for a weird
With
reason.
the Arctic monkeys.
With the Arctic
I didn't
monkeys.
see them and it haunts me.
But I bought, same, because I bought tickets to the last 2 days,
Yeah.
assuming it was like Saturday, Sunday, and my flight was booked out Monday morning.
Oh.
So,
Oh my God.
And then I realized on the day that we're going to the festival, I was like, is this Saturday or Sunday today? And everyone was like, Sunday. I was like, no, man. So I only had 1 day at the festival instead of 2 that I wanted. And I had to leave the next morning on the last day of the festival. And I had a ticket to it. So that was a nightmare. So the night that I saw you, I don't know, this is not like cool or anything, but I was just like super like wasted, I guess, because I was like, damn, it's my last night. Like I have to just go hard for one night now. And so when I bumped into you, I was like, not in a good place.
You're in a great place. You look like you're having a great time.
Well, I was probably having a good time. Yeah.
How was the flight the next morning? That would have been pretty awful.
It was terrible. I fell asleep in Siget Festival. I woke up on
my God.
a park. You know how it's like basically a town.
Yeah.
I woke up on a park bench with my phone like that. So I'd obviously just like sat down to like try and find my way home or something. And
Lucky no
had
one
just
stole
fallen
it.
asleep. Yeah, on my own. I don't know how I was on my own, but some dude just woke me up. He was like, "You alright?" I was like, "Yep, I'm all good. I gotta leave."
Thank
And it
God
was
he
Kevin
there.
Parker from Taken Park.
It was KP
was
himself.
incredible.
Well, my last rapid fire question
We just
Yeah,
forgot
rapid
about
kind of
that.
got blown out of the way.
Sorry.
Was if you could open for any band, which band would it be?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to Jet a lot lately
Oh, that'd be awesome.
because I
Sick.
saw they're going to GDM.
Yeah, are they still together? Or
Well, I think they're back together.
revived. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
revived
yeah.
for like a run around Australia or something.
Yeah.
They're playing at GDM, and so because of that, I just went back and listened to their the big album they had with
Their
like
first album, wasn't it?
yeah with like
pretty
Are You
big.
Gonna Be My Girl? Huge, awesome album.
Yeah.
Pretty just like rock and roll, pretty
Yeah.
standard, kind of derivative actually, but just sounds great.
Well, they
So I've
got
been listening to
international success. International
Yeah, they're
success.
big,
with that.
yeah.
I didn't know they were so. Yeah, it was in Flushed Away. Remember?
Well, I didn't realize, but the reason they got so big, it's like they put the album out and everyone was like expecting them to go massive, and it didn't really.
Yeah.
And then Apple was like putting out the iPod at the time,
Oh.
and it was the iPod ad song.
Yes.
You know, the one, the
Yes,
cartoon
yes,
one.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
that's how they
yes.
got big.
Is it the colourful one?
Yeah, the really colourful one.
Because
Yeah.
I know U2 had one of those as well. And then U2 did the album deal with Apple where it was downloaded onto their phones. So the
Yeah.
album, I think it was Songs of Innocence or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a good album.
Terrible.
And it was already pre-downloaded on everyone's, or like if you had a phone, it would turn off for a second, turn back on, and it had a U2 album on it. And everyone was like, this is a massive invasion of privacy. Like, get this shit album off my phone.
It was
And
so
they-
bad because I don't know how they did it, but they made it such that when you like plugged your aux cord in or something, it would be the first song that played. Or it'd be like the first thing that played.
Oh.
I swear to God. Because every
Really?
time I'd plug my thing, like Songs of Innocence would come on. I was like, these guys again. Like, I swear that happened 100
ruined.
times. I didn't even bother listening through the first song.
Just
But,
ruined their reputation with that.
yeah, that was bad. Everyone's kind of got a weird like feeling about U2 after that, I feel.
Yeah, I love the band.
Poor Bono.
Yeah, poor
I
Bono,
hate,
man.
I hate Bono.
Well-
I don't hate him, I dislike him.
This weekend, from when you guys are watching this, I'm going to be swimming the Rottnest Channel Swim solo. I am fundraising in this. Gianni is paddling in this.
Fundraising as well. We're raising fun.
I'll be swimming the Rottnest Channel Swim solo to fundraise for Crohn's disease and colitis.
Are you nervous?
Yes. So we'll leave a link to that in the description and would really appreciate some support. Back to the show. Beer. Speaking of openers, Humble Armada recently opened for the Brian Jonestown Massacre, which
Yeah.
congratulations, that's a
Yeah,
huge
thanks.
milestone.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to segue a bit into Humble Armada and
Yeah, sure.
Well,
kind
can
of
I ask about the Brian Jonestown Massacre?
sure.
Okay, so my mate Flynn the Cornu, went to your went to your show, Brian Jonestown Massacre. Yeah, they've got some pretty interesting antics, don't they?
Yeah, they're nuts. They're
They're
nuts.
nuts. I saw the video of them in Sydney or wherever, where the bassist and the drummer started.
Yeah, I think it was in
a punch
Melbourne.
up in Melbourne.
Yeah, and that ended their like tour.
It's just flat out.
That was it. Like, I think the manager after that was like, "You guys are done for this tour," or
Crazy.
maybe one of the members said that.
So I'm in the dark here. with a bit of that and maybe
Yeah.
some of the audiences. What are the antics we're talking about?
It's so hard to describe. They're kind of known for being a pretty dysfunctional band.
Yeah.
Just some oddball people, or
Yeah, kind of. Like the main guy, Anton, is like without a doubt, I don't know, in my opinion, a brilliant genius. You know, like a great songwriter and one of my favorite songwriters. But it seems like he struggles to like, I don't know, communicate completely what he wants, or like kind of gets irritated pretty easily. I don't know. Like, I don't want to diss him because he's like, I loved hanging around with him and just like soaking all that up.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was, the way he talked, he gave us like so much time a day for like a really big artist who's been going for 30 years or whatever and like putting out album after album, touring all the time. You know, he gave us the time of day. We rocked up to sound check like 4 p.m. just to watch them sound check.
Yeah.
And yeah, he gave us like a lot of time, but he was usually, when he like came up to speak to us, he was just kind of like preaching about whatever was on his mind, and we were just like his outlet. You know, he would just talk
like
about
a troubled genius.
Yeah, definitely.
it's forming a cult.
Yeah, there's that kind of energy, but it was so sick. I can't really say bad stuff about him, but yeah, the show itself,
Yeah.
it was like kind of a train wreck. I don't know.
I've heard it's just always a train, like 5 minutes between each song.
More, definitely more. Yeah, like I reckon they had a 2.5-hour slot to play for, and maybe played like an hour of music. You know, I don't know. And it was, but the annoying thing is like the audience doesn't help a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I feel like some people rock up to a Brian Jonestown show just to egg him on because he's obviously like easy to. You know, it's very obvious that he's like easy to
Rile up.
And like get under his skin or whatever.
And Australian crowds just like to get drunk and
Yeah, we have like a bad kind of sense of doing that. We like to get people a bit antsy and whatnot. I feel like, a lot of us do. I do sometimes, but like mostly with just like my siblings and stuff like that. So a lot of people would like come down to the show and just start whistling and saying like, "Oh, you suck," when they don't suck. Like when they played, they sounded like fantastic, but it would be so annoying after the tune up for 5 minutes. It's already been 5 minutes between a song, and they're getting ready to play. They're like started playing. Some bloke just goes, "That's shot," and you're like, "No, he's just gonna." And then he rants for like 10 minutes. He's like, "You suck, you dummy." You know, the main guy to the audience. Yeah, like a lot of audience conflict, a lot of conflict between the band, a lot of insults being said.
But is that almost the brand for them?
Yeah, it's kind of
it's rock and roll, baby.
You guys should watch Dig, which is the documentary about them.
Okay.
What's it on?
I think it's just on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, they're putting out like a new version this year with like more footage or whatever, but it's handheld camera footage of them coming up through the 90s.
Shit.
And to see that documentary, you understand why they are the way they are. Like they've always been like sort of a dysfunctional band. They've always been getting in fights with each other. This isn't like a new thing.
Yeah.
Fights back in the day were worse. You know, there was one show in the documentary where they had this. You know, they were making good music and people were starting to notice them, but they had this kind of like anti-authority design to them. I'm not sure.
Anarchists.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And so their A&R representative put on a show for them in LA to get all the labels down to watch them, see if the labels wanted to sign them, give them a lot of money, make their dream come true. And the show, they just got like super pissed and completely sabotaged the whole thing, fought with each other on stage, like breaking guitars and stuff in front of like all these label executives. And just like abusing the crowd and stuff. But I don't know, I think it seems like it was intentional to do that. And I feel like a lot of it kind of is intentional, like a bit of conflict gets people interested. That's why a lot of people come down to watch the show. But I did feel bad for the people that paid $150 to come down to see.
$150?
Yeah, that was the price of tickets, I'm pretty sure, $120 to $150.
Wow.
I felt bad for the people that came down to watch that and then just saw like madness unfold.
Yeah.
You know, so, and they didn't play any. They played a few, but not really a lot of their like well-known tracks.
And how did that get set up? Was it through your manager or was it like through some sort of other contact? Like, how do you set something up like that?
Yeah, we don't have a manager, but I think we just Instagram DM them.
Really?
Pretty sure, yeah.
That's
Gutsy.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I think we said how much we liked them and how like a lot of our music is influenced by them. So I think maybe whoever their manager was or whoever was admin on their social media was like, I think just like being nice to us because we said how much we like them.
But that's cool from them to just yeah.
Well, speaking of origin stories, Humble Armada, how did that come about? It's probably, is it a long story or?
No, pretty short one.
Damn.
I don't think so. I don't know. You went on exchange, right?
Yeah.
Did you both go on exchange?
I didn't.
Yeah.
You went to Milan.
Yeah. Well, when I got back from exchange, I was kind of like, let's make some music. Like
Post-exchange depression.
A little bit. Like I was like, that was so much fun. I just want to
such a
have
good time.
the same amount of fun
You
or a
grew
similar
up
amount of fun.
Playing music?
Yeah. I grew up playing music. I played piano. I don't know, maybe like 10, 11 years old. Started playing piano. Started playing guitar not long after that. And I think playing piano and guitar gives you a really good like genus for just music in general, understanding things quite a lot, having both those instruments. So, from there, that was good. I played in a lot of like stuff at Scotch. Scotch was great for that. And they have a big focus on jazz. Like the jazz department at school is, I don't know, I think they care about it a lot. And I think teaching jazz is like a really good way to learn music too. Understand, like just good, like base foundational understanding.
Pretty complex.
Yeah. And I don't know, like opens you up to like a range of different possibilities with like how you can take music. It's not as simple as like 4 chords or anything like that. You know, just gives you the options, like knowing like jazz intonations and jazz, I don't know, chord progressions and stuff like that.
Yep.
We're not like a jazzy band, but like every now and then we'll just put like a chord in, you know, and it helps it out. So that was kind of like my learning of music throughout school. And also my like family friends. I learned through all of those influences and came back from exchange and I was like, I just want to have fun. Like that was really fun. Like definitely felt less connected to studying and uni and stuff. So
interesting.
just started, you know GarageBand on your laptop. Yeah.
Classic.
I got like the updated or the extended version of that, which is something called Logic.
Yeah.
And
Logic
you've heard
Pro.
of Logic Pro, yeah. And I just started making demos in there. And, you know, at that point in my life, there were a few people like new friends or like friends that I already had, but I was getting like close relationships with who I knew could play instruments. And I was like, let's just make a band.
Yep.
And yeah, that's how it started.
When did you realize you could sing?
I used to be a way better singer than I am now. Like back in JDC, I was like singing a lot.
JDC boys.
Yeah. Like,
well, wasn't there for very long, but
So you grew up with singing lessons and learning to sing?
It wasn't singing lessons, but at JDC they were very big on choir.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember
musicals.
that.
I did a few musicals at JDC.
Yeah.
Did you go to
It was
JDC?
everywhere.
Yes. To year 5.
Oh.
When did you leave JDC?
I went till year 5. Yeah.
Year 5, there you
yeah,
go.
I left. I went to Scotch in year 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
I didn't know that.
My parents asked me to talk to your parents about
Yeah, they
that
had it all
process
sorted
probably.
out.
Yeah.
But I thought I was quite good at singing back then, and I was part of like the Gondwana National Choir. You remember those guys on the
What?
Qantas ads? Like, we are Australia.
Oh, yeah.
We are,
Okay.
So I was part of that choir when
So
I
you're
was
on all the Qantas planes.
I
playing
wasn't on the ad, but like the choir afterwards. I did that for a couple of years. And then I don't know, kind of puberty hit.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is when you're pretty young, so you
I
can't
was
compare
super
your
young.
voice to
the
like
Michael
definitely.
Jackson voice.
Yeah. Yeah, puberty was like a real downfall for the voice department. Yeah.
when you get into water polo.
Yeah. So like I kind of had that singing background, but I hadn't really done anything with it until we started the band.
Yeah.
And I don't like singing at all. Actually, quite dislike it, but I think someone just has to do it in the band, you know.
So
Interesting.
you
someone
stepped up a bit.
Yeah, well, they were my songs too, so if anyone was going to do it, probably should be me.
Fair enough.
You've been labelled the songbird of your generation. How do you feel about that?
Who said that?
No. Step Brothers quote. That's interesting that sorry, Campbell, but that's interesting that you don't like singing. Is that just, you want the, I don't know. What,
I just like playing my instrument.
Yeah,
Is it
way
because you
more.
don't like the sound of your own voice? Or
Well, I don't think anyone really does.
I think
that's
your
not
voice
true.
sounds great.
Even right now, I'm like, God damn, my bloody voice. But no, like I don't like hate it, but I would much prefer to just when I'm playing on stage, just be with the guitar and play stuff.
Is it hard to multitask and play and sing at the same time?
I think it's like the multitasking like makes me kind of bit anxious because playing guitar, making sure you're singing on pitch, which is kind of hard sometimes, especially in like pub gig rooms and whatever.
Yeah.
And then also like screwing around with your pedals.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, like guitar effects, pedals and stuff. So there's like 3 things you got to think about the entire time. And that's just focusing on yourself, not focusing on like the rest of the band. So I don't know, it's just like a lot of stuff happening, and I'm a serially bad multitasker just in life.
And it takes a while for that all to become muscle memory, or does it ever become muscle memory, or probably not?
Yeah, no, definitely it does. After like rehearsing with bands for a while, it becomes muscle memory.
Well, would playing the piano help with all the pedals and the 2 different hands going on at once?
Yeah.
That sort of transition over? Or?
Kind of. I don't know, you just gotta...
Because I've always heard singing and playing the piano at the same time is like a really big multitask.
Yeah. No, that's actually a great point. Never really thought about it like that. Playing guitar and singing is a lot easier, especially when they're just chords or something.
But you're a piano man as well.
Yeah, not as much anymore, but I got a piano at home and I play it a lot. And I've been writing most of the new music on the piano instead of the guitar. So
interesting.
It's interesting what you say about that. You just almost you feel like you have to do the singing.
Yeah.
Because I know Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys. We're going to talk about the Arctic Monkeys because I love the Arctic Monkeys at the moment. It's genuinely like
such a great band.
Most of my music, but he was always, I think, to start with, there was like there was 2 guitarists, bass guitarist, and a drummer, and like out of the 4 of them, he was just the one that they almost chose to sing their songs, and obviously they started off and he just sounds like this, like. Well, I don't know, it would have been 18 years old, 19 years old. He sounds like this prepubescent kid screaming. But
definitely
somehow throughout his career, I don't know how familiar you are with their discography, but like first album, he's like, you know, in a certain romance where his voice is like breaking and stuff like that. But he's developed his voice through to the second album, through to like AM, where he has almost his like velvety voice. I don't know how, but somehow
it's gotten better.
Training,
it's gotten better with every album. Hey?
And we like to talk about and now he like does like weird falsetto house kind of music where he's doing a lot of,
you know that album they did Tranquility
yeah,
Base?
Yeah.
His voice on that
It's
was
crazy.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was sounding like Sinatra or something.
Yeah, and he does like launching into falsetto and doing, and I don't know. I think now his voice is kind of, from what I've heard from recent YouTube and recent concerts, like they did Glastonbury this year or last year, and his voice is kind of, I think he had
losing it
laryngitis, but I feel like he's losing his. But do you think, and we like to talk about nature versus nurture a lot in this podcast, do you think, how to what extent do you think you can train a voice, and to what extent do you think it has to be naturally Yeah, and you don't have to give us a number. You can just give us
no idea.
what you
But
think.
I'm always a nurture guy. I've always thought that nurture is the biggest influence
interesting.
on anything. So yeah, I would say that like obviously some people have certain sensibilities to things and will like understand how to play an instrument a bit better, or
isn't tone deaf.
Yeah, or not tone deaf, and some people are perfect pitched, you know, and they can identify what a pitch is and say that's a C.
Charlie Puth.
Yeah. So some people are, and you know, obviously some people are better at playing a sport or whatever, but I've always thought that like if you train at something a lot, then in any context, then you'll probably get good at it.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah. That was a quote I got told a lot when I was younger, actually.
Yeah.
I like that one though. Yeah.
What about for songwriting? And we can get into, I know we keep veering away from the skeleton a bit, but it's songwriting when it comes to nature versus nurture. Like, do you think some people are more creative in that sense where they can spend some alone time, quiet time, and think about an idea or a concept? Because you're the songwriter for your band, or you guys all write songs?
Yeah, like primarily, but we're all writing. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you find that process? Do you find it easy to you, or how do you actually go about doing that process?
Yeah, that's definitely a different one, hey?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you've just got to be in tune with what your mind is thinking. Like a lot of the time, some of the songs we come up with, it'll just be like from like brain to trying to figure it out on the guitar. It's not a case of fiddling around and like I kind of know what I want to try and find.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a tough one. It comes and goes with songwriting. Like I haven't written a song in a while, but you know, and then in a couple of months I'll write like 3 in a week or
Get
something.
like a flurry of
Yeah,
inspiration.
yeah.
from
So
somewhere.
something just happens, or I think a lot of the time you find a new. For me, like if I start listening to a new artist like really intensely, because I like get obsessed with artists. Like I'll listen to one that I know of, but haven't really given the time of day.
And now it's the war on drugs.
Right now it's the war on
they're
drugs.
cool. They're so
It's been for like the last month since the show, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just take a lot of inspiration from what you're listening to.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you have a good variety of music that you're listening to, melodies just get locked in like your memory that you've heard before. But it's not ripping it off because like you just
Adding your
kind
own
of
twist to
yeah,
it.
or
Yeah.
you just put it in a different context. Like it's happened 100 times before. But I think just having like a good variety of music that you listen to will really inform a good songwriting process, because all these things that you've heard, you can make your own little concoction of them, maybe.
And when it comes to your creativity, do your sparks kind of come just out of nowhere, or do you have to have a few like bevies, or there's a lot of stories about great artists being under the influence of like drugs or alcohol to really reach their peak of
To
creativity,
open up their neural pathways
Yeah.
or
Get
whatever
get everything
they say.
firing.
The
Yeah,
Beatles always said that.
That's a
Have you written more songs sober, or
Oh, all right. We don't.
I reckon getting drunk is on it. Like a lot of people say, like certain drugs will
Yeah.
inform their songwriting process, but I think just being like a bit tipsy
Yeah.
Helps.
it gets
Be
you
more
in the
honest
zone.
and more.
Get you in
yeah.
the zone. You know, when you're a bit drunk, you
confidence
like
is peaking?
yeah, you know what you know, right? Like anytime you're drinking, you get so focused in on what's happening in the moment that you're in. Like if you're drinking with mates, you just focused on them. Whereas if you're sober, you're like thinking about other stuff all the time. Our brains.
So it helps you escape a little bit to focus.
It just I think it like makes you hyper focus on what's in front of you, and you get more into it. You know, like when you're listening back to the kind of stuff you've just recorded, and you're a bit more, you've had like a few drinks. I mean, yeah, you're probably a bit more confident because you're like, oh, this sounds so much better than it probably actually does sound because you're a bit drunker. But yeah, I'll just say like a few drinks. I've heard red wine is very good for songwriting.
yeah, right.
It's also an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
Just in case you didn't know.
Let's get some red
And
wine
oysters.
later.
Yeah.
And the process of your first album, what's writing a first album like? A lot of time put into it,
Yeah.
A lot of songs.
a lot of production, a lot of writing,
Yeah.
a lot of practicing. What was probably the most challenging part of your first album?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the most challenging part of any album is the production. I feel like after you've recorded it, we've recorded all our stuff so far, just like in various places we've been like living or whatever, and because of that, like we don't always get the best like raw audio recording or sound, and we kind of stitch up our like mixing engineers a lot because we'll record something and send it off to them and like give them an email about what we want it to sound like. And these poor guys are like, you guys are just idiots that have recorded this so terribly and you've given me all this list of demands I have to make it sound like. So I think that back and forth with the mixing engineers it's just taken a lot longer than we would have liked, but it's to no fault of theirs. It's just our raw, you know, we're still learning how to record stuff and, you know, getting better at it every time, but yeah, I think we've stitched up our mix engineers a lot by asking them to do, you know, miracles on the music we give them. Whereas like usually you go into like their studio and they can control what the sound's going to be like.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, the production's probably the hardest bit, but
We've got 3 albums now. The Door, All Around You, and Today's Tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow's today. Yeah,
Tomorrow's today. Damn. But
that's a tongue twister.
yeah. But out of all of them, which one was the most challenging? Was it the first one? Just because it was the first one, or?
Nah, definitely the last one was the most challenging in terms of it just took us the most time to finish it off, and we were way more particular about it, and that's why I reckon it sounds a lot better than our other stuff. But yeah, it just took a bit longer. We argued over it a lot more.
Really?
Yeah, because we were all more like emotionally invested in it. I feel the songwriting was more spread out. It wasn't just me, and everyone was kind of like really invested in their own parts. Everyone had an opinion. Luckily, we've got 5 people in our band, so like there's always going to be like
a majority.
vote.
Oh,
So we can always like make a decision.
interesting.
So it's kind of like a democracy in the band. There's no.
Yeah, we try and push democracy.
Is that a recommendation for
Authoritarian
up and
leadership
coming
by you.
bands? Is that a recommendation for upcoming bands to have an odd number for voting purposes?
I've heard that democracy in bands doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Well, as the lead singer and
Yeah.
songwriter, you'd kind of have to
You
take
get the final
lead
vote,
with
right?
The final vote, wouldn't you?
yeah. What am I? I'm the chair of the Senate.
You're the chair of the Senate. I am the Senate.
Yeah. But yeah. So we were able to come to like consensuses. But I think sometimes when you're putting out putting out a song or like an album, that's like the only time you're going to be able to put it out, and that's whatever decision you make. That's going to be the decision you make forever, and it's your song, so you're like attached to it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think what we wanted to happen with the songs, what we didn't want to happen with the songs, and when our interests like conflicted, we were a bit more emotionally invested in that than you would on just like a normal thing.
Yeah. It's like a finality to it. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this is
definitely. So,
interesting.
but I mean, it never got like, it was always passive discussion. It was always very, very nice and cordial. So
Well, like it's probably
making an album's never been bad. It's been good.
it's probably
yeah.
like a relationship, right? Like the arguments are healthy in that sense because it shows that people care. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
being in a band it's a good experience. Like you're always hanging out with your mates. And
Definitely. It is like having
a relationship.
Like a relationship.
Four
Yeah.
girlfriends.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely like having at least one because the commitment's like a lot, and you're all trying to make sure you're respecting each other and pleasing each other, from a commitment point of view. So, but I love it.
Yeah,
I love playing with the band. I love the guys. Like the guys in the band are, some of my best friends and such good people, good hearts.
Well, shout out to the Humble Armada.
Shout
crew.
out to the guys.
And you've just been on tour as well. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Is that your? Well, I don't know
Was
how many tours have you?
That was our
done?
second national tour.
Yeah. Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, we supported Great Gable. Do you know them?
No.
Oh, damn.
Background research. Sorry.
Yeah,
we didn't.
They're I guess they were a bit bigger like a couple of years ago, but they're a really good band and like a professional band, and they've been doing this for ages. And their song Drift like went viral, and I don't know, it was kind of like a big song, still is. But yeah, they're a great band. They pull huge crowds. We played like 3 shows in Melbourne, 2 in Sydney. I might be getting this wrong, but they're a band that can pull numbers from all across Australia, and they're about to go to the UK, and go everywhere. They're about to go to New Zealand. So yeah, they were a really good band to hang out with and take notes from.
What's it like traveling with all your mates and stuff?
I mean, it's like normal.
Pretty
Like
fun.
you guys have gone traveling with your mates.
It'd be
I
like a
assume.
polo under 16 spirit trip.
I hope not.
Oh no, nothing like that.
Yeah,
Surely
no.
nothing like that.
Oh,
Water polo
Montenegro.
Water polo trips. Probably notoriety.
Well, I heard
famously.
on a
infamous.
podcast, and someone was talking about it because he's got like a full team around him, and he was talking about how when multiple people who are like-minded, like similar age, and are friendly with each other, working towards a common objective or goal, like the level of the friendship that you gain from that is almost like a life bond that you'll never lose.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I definitely feel that way about this band. I can't, but I don't know if I could say that for like every band in all the bands that we know. But it feels like with Humble, yeah, I don't see like anything ever like going bad. Oh, this is it's probably so ignorant and naive, but like, I don't see anything
Sounds
ever,
like a
falling-
relationship.
I don't see anything ever like falling out in a really like bitter way or
Yeah.
anything like that. And I do think that because of the amount of time we've spent together, like we've done tours, not counting all the tours that we've done around WA and stuff like that, overnight stays, weekend stays, like doing 4 days at a time recording. Yeah, we've spent so much time together. Probably have spent the most time with those guys over the last few years.
It's almost like
Just
a
because-
second family.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, where do you see the future for Humble Armada?
I have no idea, but
Playing a show this afternoon.
playing a show this Arvo, so
Fourth
that's
album in
the
the works.
immediate future. I think we're going to put out an EP, maybe in a couple months. We're just recording it at the moment, and yeah, it sounds pretty good. we're trying to like record it and produce it ourselves. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. Hopefully it sounds good. At the moment it sounds kind of bad, but we'll like turn it around.
You're cooking.
We're cooking, yeah. We're just finding the right ingredients right now. But no, the future of Humble looks good. I think we just got a booking agent like a few days ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this girl called Portia. She seems very onto it.
Is she German?
No.
What?
Porsche isn't Porsche from Germany?
Porsche.
Not like the car.
No.
Portia.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Porsche named after the car. Oh no.
But she lives in Queensland, but she's moving to Perth because she's taking on a bunch of Perth artists to her roster. And yeah, she seems like super committed. So we're hoping to get some more over East shows because of having her on board and having her influence. So yeah, hopefully more shows over East. Hopefully, I mean, I'd love to play a couple of cool festivals. I think that's kind of the next goal.
Yeah.
Play like a good festival that people are going to. We played a cool one last year in Fremantle called Out of the Woods. But that festival is still very much, it's not fully established yet. I'd really like to play an established festival and just to say that we have. So yeah, hopefully that. But honestly, with music, you never really know when it's going to go. And the opportunities will come up when you least expect them. Like the Brian Jonestown thing, like never expected that to happen.
It's great that you just reached out though and
So random. We got back from Brisbane, that tour we did. We got back from Brisbane on like Monday morning at like 1 a.m. and then we were playing with Brian Jonestown that night. So that was a real like tour life kind of vibe when we were doing that.
rockstar lifestyle.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Beautiful.
I wanted to talk a bit about your sort of performance, like performing on stage. I know we mentioned it a bit earlier with the heat and stuff, but more
Yeah, the heat.
Yeah.
when
Heat's
you're
terrible.
coming up on stage, is there like a pre-game sort of like routine you have to be in?
True.
Like, do you need to be in a certain mindset?
Or is that just a load of baloney that
Are you
people
nervous
say?
every time before you hop on? Or?
I get nervous kind of often. But there's no like ritual. Some bands do that though. Like some people definitely do that, and they need to do that. I think our band, especially me, I just like to talk to people at the gig. You know, watch the previous band, and talk to people up until the point where we have to just get our stuff and go,
Yeah.
and just not really think about the fact that you're going up and playing, and also just remind yourself that you're just at a social event. Really, I think that's kind of what helps with the nervousness sometimes is.
So you're having a good time on stage, or you're
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'm having a good time. Sometimes I'm not, but that's got nothing to do with like the gig or anything like that. It's just, you know,
Mindset.
when you play at a show every weekend for like 4 weeks,
can
sometimes
be a bit exhausting.
yeah, sometimes you're like, I'm just not in the mood to sing tonight. You know what I mean? But most of the time, yeah, I'm loving it up there. But you know, I still get nervous. I think that's a good thing though, just to be still a little bit nervous because it is like such a strange thing to think about the fact that, you know, I'm going up and I'm singing to a bunch of people, songs that I've written, you know, that it is quite it's quite surreal if I think about it for too long.
That is surreal, yeah.
It's very
that's
weird.
awesome.
So yeah, I just gotta try and not remind myself of that otherwise, because that's what makes me a bit nervous. Like the fact that, like, God, I'm singing my own lyrics,
And I don't like my own voice.
and you know, and yeah, you're just kind of doubting yourself a little bit sometimes. But I don't know. I think as long as you just remind yourself that you're singing at the moment, I'm just singing to a bunch of people that are there. They're coming down to see
They're
the show.
there to see you.
They're there to see the show, but they're also there to like see their friends and have a good time, and they're just gonna have fun anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, the music, as long as you give it a decent effort, it's going to be good. So,
Do you find you perform better when you're more relaxed or when you're a bit on your seat, a bit nervous?
probably more relaxed. Yeah, definitely look a bit better as well when you're more relaxed. And yeah, I just try and like interact with the other band members a lot. I think that makes for a good show.
Awesome. Favorite place you've ever performed at?
Good question.
Oh yeah. Best performance.
Best performance
okay.
and favorite place to
Yeah.
perform
Two
at.
different questions.
Our best performance, I reckon, we played in Bunbury, which was like the start of our tour for our first album. We played to like 30 people maybe, but that was definitely our best performance, I reckon.
That's
we were just
awesome.
on one. The album had come out that day and we were all just very excited.
Fired up. I know there's 30 people,
But
but there you go. What does that
we had
say,
a great
right?
night with them.
Yeah.
And it was good just having like 30 people because we got to meet everyone after, and
Awesome.
some people knew, some people didn't know. But the best place to play, I mean, probably Indie Bar. You know, Indian Ocean Hotel?
Yeah.
We play there all the time.
Played there last week.
Played there last Sunday.
Yep.
Is that the one at Cot?
No, it's near Scarborough.
Okay.
Yeah, you know
I'll have to suss it out.
the White Sands Tavern? It's a really cool bar.
Indie Bar.
Indie Bar. Indian Ocean Hotel is called.
Down the road from, what's that one in Sky? The Lookout?
It's right down the road from Lookout, yeah.
Actually, yeah, I think I do know where that is.
And it's great in the summer because the pub itself has like a pool outside and like a spa.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the day, if it's like sunny, people just go there and drink and go in the pool and bring their family, bring their dog, you know. It's really cool. And
Listen to Humble Armada.
yep, you know, we're playing there sometimes.
Dogs for Humble Armada.
Yeah.
Well, was there a specific moment, was it either like when writing or an album getting dropped or even just a performance where you realised that Humble Armada is something that you could really start to take seriously and maybe potentially have a career with?
Nah, not really. I've always wanted to have a career with Humble, but I've never really like fully been like, I think, you know, we can do this, bro. Like, it's more just
Enjoying
just
it.
enjoy it and like still take it very, like I've taken it seriously the entire time. It wasn't like at the start I was like, oh, we'll just playing tunes with my mates and we decided to put out a song on a whim. Like, it's never like that. Like, I took it seriously from the get-go and always wanted to put out the best thing I could put out at the time, or whatever I thought was good. But I've never kind of...
You don't want to see it as a job.
No, and I don't think that's healthy.
You're not trying to force the process.
No, definitely.
Interesting.
It's just about like putting out stuff that you think sounds really good, and hopefully other people agree.
Was there a moment where you thought that you really did, like, people really did appreciate your music and you were successful?
Yeah, all the time. Like, whenever someone's like, oh, I really like this song for this reason, or, you know, this song struck a chord with me or whatever, like, that's a great feeling. I probably don't respond the best way because, like, when you get like compliments about yourself,
It's weird.
It's so weird, and you kind of freeze up and probably respond in a not the nicest way that you could. But it's a really good feeling when someone does respond to your music like that. And yeah, that's definitely a form of success, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of career, you know, I want to keep doing this for as long as we can, but I think you just gotta make sure you don't set yourself up to be like supremely disappointed.
Because at the same time, you're a very busy man studying law.
Yeah, I want to try and keep.
So what's that
a
balance?
lot of balance. Like,
what's the balance?
Yeah, like honestly, last year was like my first year studying law, and it took a while to adjust. You know, it was such a big step up from undergrad. Undergrad was like, you know, you if you didn't want to really work for a unit, you didn't have to work for it, right? You could just leave you could sleep to the end. But with law, you can't do that. You miss a lecture and you don't get the rest of them, you know. So yeah, so just trying to keep up to date with having all my uni done and doing the band and working. Yeah, it took me a while to adjust to it. And I probably wasn't as motivated last year, but I think I've got a good handle on it now, and I'm looking forward to this year quite a lot.
Be a great balance to have, right?
Because
obviously
if it works.
You can escape into either if one is giving you the shits, you can...
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not fully... Like,
Can't really escape from your JD, mid-JD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't fully commit... Well, at least last year, I found it hard to fully commit to one or the other. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, you got to put on your musical hat.
Always thinking,
And then you got to leave that, and the next day you got to put on your
it's very different, the creative versus the...
It's extremely different.
Yeah.
There is such little room for subjectivity and creativity in the law as well. A lot of it's like objectively based. Yeah.
It's interesting to put it that way, right? So you're not going to be writing any songs about the law or anything?
No. But
great.
A good thing is it might... I think because I learn a lot of weird words in law.
Oh,
but they use a lot of weird words like judges and lawyers, and legal speak itself is very proper, and there's a lot of Latin in there. So it might be some good words to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the only...
Silver lining?
Like cognoscible. Have you heard of that before?
No, I haven't.
What a good word that is. That just means to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say cognizant, right?
Yeah.
It was like cognizant.
Yeah. So the word legally cognizable comes out a lot. And I like that word. I think I might use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You write a song. Okay, where else do you reckon there could be a merge between your two passions? I don't know if law's your passion, but
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a passion.
yeah.
It's definitely a curiosity.
What type of lawyer would you want to be?
Don't know yet. I really like constitutional law, like public law,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I don't mind contracts either. So one of those two.
Swing either way.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
They're very different to each other.
Well, for the audience, I'm sure there's maybe some people out there that might be considering starting a band or starting music just to have a bit of fun. And this would probably be good advice for them. If you could look back at yourself right before you started doing anything and there was any key advice you could give yourself, what would it be?
So deep, man.
Very deep. I would just say, I don't know, just make sure you share your music with a lot of people before you put it out, and try share it with like the people that are most honest with you and get some real feedback on it. And, just so you don't get tunnel vision, I think it's kind of important.
Okay, nice.
And you don't lead yourself down like a garden path that you get really invested in like one idea that you forget to see the whole picture. That's such a broad thing to say. But I think just make sure you
valuable.
get feedback like you would on anything, like on an essay or
Who was the first person
on your job.
you asked feedback for?
Well, that's I think I kind of failed to do that a lot because I was just kind of doing it in my...
Yeah, is there a bit of a block there? Like you almost not feel embarrassed, but you're like, oh, it's pretty...
Yeah.
You feel pretty vulnerable probably in that moment.
Yeah. Like if you got like a partner maybe, like it's probably a good person
Like
to
your
share
mum
it
or
with.
your family?
Mum and dad, like, no, I do share it with them, but I mean, I don't know if this is rude
They're
or
going to
not,
be
but
supportive of whatever
they're going to be
you do.
supportive of everything, and I don't know, I don't
True.
really take that musical opinion as a massive like driver for what we're doing. Not to be rude.
It's not that.
Poor
It's not
Carl-
your
poor-
demographic. It's
poor-
just not your demographic.
Poor Carlo.
Yeah.
Poor Carlo.
But yeah, just make sure you treat it like any piece of work, and I don't really know, but make sure you're doing what you actually like to hear, not what you think other people like. Like make sure you're making music that you genuinely enjoy and you would probably listen to in your own time. Because if you won't, then no one else will. You're the one who makes it. I don't know. Yeah. There's so much stuff you can say with music. It's such a subjective line. Yeah.
So you search for feedback, but you also make sure you stay true to yourself and make stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah, make sure that at least one person, at least yourself, is really into it, I would say. Obviously, you probably will be, but I don't know. I wouldn't make songs for an audience. Yeah.
Humble Armada, where can we find you? What's in store for the future? Anything you want to plug?
Not really. We're on social media, so you can look at all our stuff there. Have we got anything big coming up? We're playing with a band called Sunsick in Bunbury, and so we're playing with a band called Sunsick in like 2 weeks in Bunbury, and then Margaret River. Oh no, Bunbury then Yelling Up for their EP tour, and they're a really cool band, so I'd like to plug them. And they just make the lead singer's got like maybe the best voice I think in WA. She's phenomenal, and their new EP is really, really good, so go listen to that. And we're playing at Poland Fest, which is like this new festival that I know this guy has made, and it looks really good. I can't say too much about it. I don't really know too much about it, but it's at Port Beach Brewery. That's next month. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have some really cool stuff coming up.
EP later in the year.
Yeah, hopefully we're getting through the EP. Honestly, we've been pretty lazy with it, but we'll get it done soon.
Yeah.
And we'll get it out.
Poland Fest sounds good.
Yeah.
I like Port Beach Brewery as well. It's good
Always
venue.
a good time.
Good venue. Might have to. I know I said I was going to come along to
Yeah, you lied, man.
Indie bar last.
bar, but I lied.
Just like he told the magician we had on, he'd go to his show.
I'm just a terrible
I
human
went there
being,
alone.
honestly. I'm just a terrible human being. No, you didn't. Wow.
I brought someone else. But
Yeah.
Come down to it. Come down to
for
Poland
sure.
Fest. That'll actually be a good time.
Yeah.
So maybe
or
come
maybe
down to
just
that one.
indie bar.
Yeah, maybe come.
Or where's
I
Poland
reckon
Fest?
Poland Fest at Port Beach Brewery.
It's not Poland Fest. It's Poland Fest.
It's not in Warsaw.
Port Beach Brewery, that's in Freo.
Yeah,
All right. Sweet.
Fremantle, Poland.
Well, fuck, all right.
Poland Fest.
We'll drop all of that in the bio for the audience to go discover. if they haven't already.
Cool.
But otherwise, thanks so much for being on here. We'll let
Thank
you
you,
go
Matt.
to your gig.
No, thank you very much.
Good
Thanks,
luck
guys.
this
Band practice.
afternoon.
Always good chatting with you guys.